Hey guys, and welcome to a special Sports Card Grinders. We had some big news last night that affects our viewers and affects our people in the RG Sports Card Discord channel. Cam Newton signed with the Patriots last night, which is big, especially since last week we had Chief Justice himself, Will Priester, on our show, and he was pushing Cam heavily. And Cam is a name that's come up frequently on our show. Cam's also a name that's come up frequently in our Discord channel. His rookie cards are going through the roof right now. Chief, why don't you give us a little bit about what's happening with Cam's rookie cards right now?
Well, I think we ended up in a perfect storm situation, and ironically, it's exactly how I thought it would go. I think I wrote an article a couple weeks ago, kind of detailing how I felt about Cam. I think I even plugged in there that I really hope that he went to the Patriots in that article, and just also kind of talked about the fact that once he got signed, I really felt strongly that all of his card prices were going through the roof. His rookies specifically, and to be quite honest, that's exactly what happened, and it just happened to be the perfect storm. Right guy, right team. And so, I've been buying a good bit of Cam for a couple months now. I know me and you have talked about it kind of offline, even before anybody else was kind of thinking about it. And, it ended up working out for us big time. All of our calls aren't going to work like that, but I think if you've, got a good feel for the sports game and you see players and you know how coaches think and, you can just kind of get ahead of the trend before everyone else catches up. My background and, I've been an advisor. And so that's kind of been a specialty of mine, just kind of trying to predict things before they happen. And we call it value investing in the advisor world, and that's kind of how I felt about Cam, that get him while the prices were low, because once he got signed, I knew they were going through the roof. And I mean, it took probably a matter of minutes, to be honest with you, on eBay, before car prices went from $50 to $500 within a few minutes. And luckily for me, this time it worked out. I had a good stockpile of Cam and was able to profit from it. And that's the name of the game. And now let's see if we can turn this into something else.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a huge night for Cam Newton rookie card investors. Renell Pasegan is also known as Rhino in the RotoGrinders world. Rhino, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with this Cam Newton rookie?
Yeah, well, the Cam Newton experience for me was crazy. When I first the season started, I already knew he was going to be a free agent, so I was thinking in my head, where would he go? And I already knew he had a chip on his shoulder, so I felt like, all right, that gives me enough reason to start investing in him. I always thought he was going to go to the Patriots, and I was like, all right, who else needs a quarterback? Patriots, Chargers, either one. Patriots have a big market. Chargers have a big market. Well, not really a big market, but they're in LA, and it's Cam. So what I did, I started investing in him, and man, looking at his rookie cards, BGS 9.5, PSA 10s, all for under $30, and I can't pass that up. I mean, that for me, at that point, I was like, okay, this is an easy double. I could double it up no matter where he goes. I didn't expect it to go 10x after the news yesterday, which was crazy because I would have invested more, like what Chiefs just said. Me and him, we had a bunch on our watch list, and ironically, a lot of them ended yesterday on auction, and I know we were trying to pick it up for under $50. That didn't happen. That it ended up at like 350, 400. But I mean, it's nice to see all that happen, and you just got to react fast. And it's either you go ahead and buy some more for cheap, try to get it really cheap, or you go into your eBay and you just change your prices right away. That's for me what I did. I went on my eBay, raised up the price even more, and it's still sold.
Yeah, for sure. And what Rhino's referring to, usually when we buy these cards that we're speculating on, we'll list them on eBay immediately with prices way higher than what they're typically going for, just in anticipation of a catalyst event happening where their card price is going to shoot up. and hopefully we'll catch a bid on it. In this case, it was a situation where we had the card prices listed on eBay for significantly more than what they were going for, but a catalyst like this was going to shoot up the prices of those cards significantly more. So we had to react quickly and jump into our eBay stores and up the price even more to meet the significance of the event. Because Cam signing with the Patriots is huge. It's a best case scenario for him. It's a best case scenario for the Patriots too. In my opinion, they get an MVP caliber player. They need to compete with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson, obviously. So they're going to need a player in their quarterback who can compete at that level. So finding a guy like Cam or picking up a guy like Cam is big for the Patriots too. What do you think about that, Chief?
Well, I mean, like I said, perfect world scenario. Couldn't have been any better. Tons of profit all the way around. I mean, Simon, you had a big profitable day, of course. Here's what I will say though, and this is what I immediately thought. I don't have any seller's remorse. You know, I got in at dirt cheap prices, so I already had mine priced up, and I actually didn't change any of mine. I just kind of let it ride because I had baked in profit already. Here's what I will say: if Cam wins the Super Bowl, then we still would have sold him too cheap. But that's all more speculation. But him going to the Patriots, I think it infinitely increases his chances of getting there. I mean, I know they've got to play Patrick Mahomes, and I know he's got Lamar. But in my opinion, he's still probably got the best coach in the AFC until he retires. And if Cam happens to win a Super Bowl, then all the cards that we sold yesterday are probably going to go for thousands more. And it's just the name of the game. So, I know this show is about Cam, but for me, once I knew that was gonna happen, and all my Cams sold in like 3 hours, all of them. And I didn't accept any offers on them except one. I had one Cam that was a raw uncirculated, and I did accept the offer on that one because it wasn't graded. And I'm not going to say I didn't care as much about it, but it was a really good offer, so I went ahead and accepted it. I got that card for $15. So, that kind of gives you the story. But we got to be on to the next big thing. And Rennell does a really good job, I think, of speculating, and just kind of know your area. Rennell's kind of been on some guys. I've been speculating on some guys. We've been speculating on some of the same guys. Simon, you know how we feel about Mitchell Trubisky. And so if you wait until the change happens, you're always going to be behind the 8 ball. And so I think that's really what kind of sums up the process of it all. If you do your homework and you do your research, you say, hey, this is a guy I want to start buying now, go ahead and start. I mean, the worst that could happen is, you lose some money in your investment and maybe you can at least flip it back and break even. But, if what you speculate and what you anticipate actually happens, then you'll see it how it is today. And I know, this is, I know we've been a DFS company and a sports betting company, and it's kind of the same thing. You do all your research all day and you find this guy that nobody else is talking about, and you just have to pull the trigger. And if he goes off for 60 fantasy points, guess what? You're a genius. If not, okay. And, so just if you're doing your homework, man, invest in the guys that you like. I'm not saying don't take my advice or don't take Simon's advice. I mean, don't take Rhino's advice. I'm not saying that these guys are geniuses, but if you've got somebody you're on that you can get for the low, you just need to start pulling the trigger before everybody else catches up. Because once they do, it's too late.
Yeah, agreed for sure. And just to illustrate what exactly happened last night, Cam's rookie cards, PSA 10 graded Topps Chrome 2011 rookie cards were going for under like $30. So under $30 for a PSA 10 rookie card of Cam Newton, MVP caliber player. He was in the Super Bowl not too long ago. He's had a great career. He's probably Hall of Fame caliber at this point without even having won a Super Bowl yet. But he's got a lot left in his career, hopefully with New England. I know he's signed, I believe, a 1-year contract, so hopefully that works out for him and he's able to extend that and to add some more milestones onto his career. But the fact that you could get a player like that PSA 10 graded for under $30 for their main rookie card was ridiculous. And so it was very low risk play right there. Um, glad to have at least got one. I kicking myself. Chief and I have been talking, and Rhino been talking to each other about how we were kicking ourselves for not buying more, even though we were way early on this. And you know, we've been talking Cam up now for a while. And the RG Discord is a great place to get these types of ideas. Chief and Rhino have been rallying around Cam for about a month now, and getting other people in our Discord channel involved in that trade too. So hopefully a lot of people in the RG Sports Card Discord channel were able to benefit from that discussion and that Cam idea. Rennell, what is your thinking with where Cam goes from here, and what do you think as far as his card prices?
I think from here you could still make a profit. I mean, there's people that bought it for 50. Even if you bought it for 100, you could still sell it at a profit. Yesterday, I figured someone told me in the Discord that preseason he's gonna play the Panthers. That's a prime time to sell his cards too, because there's gonna be so much hype that week coming into that preseason game. Everyone knows that Cam is gonna play. He's gonna try to show up. He's gonna try to show why they traded him or let him go, and then that's a good time to sell it. Even if you sold it for, I mean, if you bought it for 150 and you have buyer's remorse, no, you could sell that for double. You could sell it for 300. I think it's just going to keep going up. And if he ends up beating Stidham for that starting job, there you go. It's going to 2-3x. I mean, the sky's the limit with this guy. I mean, I know a lot of people saying he has injury problems. I don't think so. I mean, yeah, he runs around the pocket a lot, but I mean, he can get through that. And as far as his card prices, it'll keep going up. I don't see it going back down to $15, $20 no more. That's never the case anymore. I just feel bad for the Stidham owners now. I mean, his card prices are going to drop, which right now is actually a really good time to buy him up if you really believe in Stidham, because his cards are going to drop tremendously. And if you still have faith that Stidham could beat out Cam, go ahead and buy Stidham up.
Yeah, and I think, like, honestly, I think that's a good risk to take. Cam's on a 1-year deal, like we mentioned. So Stidham has every opportunity to win that job and to potentially, beyond this year, learn the system better and become the starting quarterback that everybody was projecting him to be when they were buying up his cards and jacking up that price. What do you think about that situation, Chief?
Yeah, same thing, man. I will say this. I think Cam has the potential to be the starter from day one. I think it's, that's potentially the case. I feel like in this situation, you possibly don't bring Cam in to be a backup. I don't think Cam wants to be a backup, but hey, maybe he, kind of utilizes the backup role for a week or 2 or 3 weeks. But I think you bring Cam in to try to win. I think Cam wants to win. I think he wants to cement himself as a really good quarterback. I will say this: if you haven't watched All or Nothing, just watch the Panthers documentary at All or Nothing, and I think you'll get a really different view on Cam. I will say that. I know he has some interesting fashion choices, and maybe he doesn't interview as well as you want him to interview. But I don't think Cam's football personality comes across as much as it does when he's on the field. If you watch that documentary, you'll see what Cam is all about. And I think they brought Cam in to try to keep that team going. I mean, I don't think Mr. Kraft wants to see Brady leave and they take this massive step back, especially when you've had the comparison of who's the reason for the championships. Is it Belichick? Is it Brady? It's probably a combination of the two. But Belichick gets a chance to reprove himself again. Cam gets a chance to, prove himself again. So I just think this is the perfect storm. I think Cam ends up starting because this is just it's a really unique situation. And I think both guys want to win. Belichick wants to win. Cam wants to win. And I think that's kind of where you take it.
Yeah, and I think with Cam too, he's just an eccentric guy, and a lot of times the media will pile on to those types of personalities and act like they have some sort of an attitude problem or something like that. But I think with Cam, he's a passionate guy. Sometimes he wears his emotions on his sleeve, but he's a competitor, so I don't really see anything wrong with that, honestly. And I think in a situation where you team him up with Belichick, I think Belichick can really bring out the best out of him. I think Belichick might be, just the missing link between Cam and a Super Bowl title. And I think the sky's the limit for him. Rhino, what do you have to add to that?
I think he has a lot going for him. I think he'll have a really good bounce back season, and just by that, people are gonna buy his cards up. I mean, if he starts week 1, those cards keep going up. He keeps starting, and he's gonna I mean, when he's on the by the goal line, he's gonna try to run it in. Any little touchdown he does, his flamboyant style. He's always on social media. He comes in wearing those arrogant or flashy suits. That just drives up his market. And no matter what, I mean, I just wish I bought more.
Yeah. So I think if we're looking forward to the next Cam Newtons that we can buy, what kind of players are you guys targeting? We'll start with you, Chief.
I mean, look, it's the secret's in the sauce, man. I think Mitch Trubisky and Marcus Mariota, in terms of quarterback, those are going to be my two. I think Mitch Trubisky has probably a better chance to start than Mariota because he's already been there, been in the system. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't think Nick Foles is that much better than Mitch Trubisky, if at all. I know he's won a Super Bowl, and I'm not saying Foles can't play in the National Football League by any means, but I think Trubisky has a chance to do well. And just with Mariota, I think Mariota may be a better fit for this offense than Derek Carr. So those are two guys that I think I'm just going to start buying right now. And I've already got some Trubisky, already got some Mariota, already got some Jameis. Jameis is more long-term because I don't think he's going to, have a starting job unless Drew Brees gets hurt. He's more of an insurance policy. But Jameis, you're playing long-term. He goes there a year and then he signs with another team like Jacksonville or something like that. Then his prices are going up. I've looked into Colin Kaepernick. He's a little bit out of my price range in terms of long-term flips or whatever. But I think, for the NFL, Trubisky and Mariota, I'm going all in. Those are going to be my two that I just started investing in a lot more heavily.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think, Rhino? Who are you targeting now?
Right now, I want to echo Chief. Mariota. I'm all in on him. I feel like, like what Chief said, he's perfect for that system. Derek Carr, I mean, he makes mistakes, or he just, I don't know. I've watched Raider games, and those fans boo him. And the moment that happens, Gruden didn't bring Mariota there for no reason, because before last year, Derek Carr, his backups were, who is it, Connor Cook, or whatever. But now he actually has a competent backup. I'm pretty sure Gruden is gonna put Mariota in, let him start. I mean, if he takes that starting job, you could buy Mariota cards right now for under $30. The same with Cam, just how Cam was. PSA 10s, BGS 9.5s, all under, I think 35. Because last night I found a ton, and I started buying it up. PSA 10s, refractors, under 35. So I'm trying to follow that same path I did with Cam, and I'm just gonna go all in on Mariota.
Yeah, I'm in on Mariota too. I think when you bring in a coach like Gruden, everybody makes fun of Gruden and his style and everything, but he's a good coach. He's a Super Bowl contending coach in the past, obviously. But I think he's a little bit underrated right now because everybody likes to pile in on the making fun of Gruden train. Where I look at Gruden, I saw the Hard Knocks last year, and I saw a coach that was passionate coach. He seemed to have his team behind him. He seemed to be getting people on board with his style and everything. I think a couple years under a coach like that, they get used to it. And a player like Mariota, who has that talent, who, probably wasn't the best fit in Tennessee for him, but you put him in a new situation where he gets a fresh start, a fresh opportunity. Hopefully, he'll get an opportunity to start this year. We'll see what happens with him, but I think he's definitely one of those players that has that Cam Newton potential as far as card activity. A couple other guys that I like are guys like Phillip Walker. He's the backup over in Carolina, actually, to Teddy Bridgewater. I don't have a ton of faith in Teddy Bridgewater. He's disappointed so many times in the past that I think there's a huge disappointment potential there. And if that happens, I think they could turn to Phillip Walker, who was an absolute stud in the XFL. He didn't really get an opportunity over in Indy. He was on the practice squad. Andrew Luck was the starting quarterback at that point, so he really never had an opportunity to even get on the main team, much less a starting job. So he had an opportunity in the XFL, and he turned it up, and he did awesome. He had an awesome season over there. I know it's much less quality competition, but I think he showed that he's capable of being a stud. And I think the coach that he teamed up with over in Carolina, they were together and they won a title in college ball. So I think if Teddy Bridgewater underperforms like I think that he has the potential to do, and they give Phillip Walker an opportunity over there, he's only got one rookie card that I'm aware of, and that's an unparalleled card. And that's 2018, I believe. And they pop up every once in a while on eBay in the, $200 range. I would buy it for around $20. If you can get a Phillip Walker rookie for around $20, I'd say scoop it up. I think, like I said, if he gets that opportunity, then he's going to rip it up. So what do you guys think about maybe additional players under the radar?
Well, let me plug this in because you brought up two guys from Indy, you brought up one guy in particular from Indy, but I'm going to talk about the guy that's there now. I don't think Phillip Rivers is winning a Super Bowl, but I think going to Indy, having a coach that's just kind of going to let him play wide open. I still think Phillip Rivers has a little bit more in the tank. He hasn't gotten injured as much as Ben Roethlisberger. I think Phillip Rivers is another guy you can buy. I mean, I've seen PSA 9s out there for $20. Some PSA 10s. Back when he was a rookie, I mean, he had so many variations of cards. So you just kind of got to pick and choose where you want to get in. But him and Big Ben are guys I've been looking at. And just as you were talking, Simon, and look, this is deep buying speculation. Okay, this isn't like Cam because I have no clue what will happen. I think I'm going to start buying some Andrew Luck rookies, just in case. I mean, and this is more like buying your penny stocks. Your stuff under $5, just in case Andrew Luck decides he wants to play football again. I don't want to be late to the party, so I might scoop up 5 or 6 Lucks that I can get that may not be as much right now, because I don't think he's Hall of Fame. I don't think he's going to the Hall of Fame right now. No MVPs, nothing like that. So, you guys are kind of getting deep speculation right here as we're on the show. Because I was not thinking about Andrew Luck at all, but I think I'm going to get in on some Andrew Luck. I mean, just in case he gets the itch to come back. So, thank you, Simon. You just gave me a new target.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. And there was speculation last season that he would come back towards the end of the season if Indy was in any type of competitive situation. So you never know. But what do you think, Renell?
I like that Andrew Luck call, actually. I have a couple on my watch list. I just haven't pulled the trigger, but, it might work out. And that would pay off a lot if I do actually pull the trigger. That makes me think right now, I might buy a couple just in case. But other than that, I don't really have any more other quarterbacks on my list. Trying to go towards the wide receiver range now, and the ones I've been buying up is actually Devontae Adams. His PSA 10s, BJS 95s, same thing, under $35. You could get it. I think I got a PSA 10. It was 40. They had accepted the offer for 20, and I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep going after him. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is Aaron Rodgers' last year. with Green Bay. Not too sure. But you
Yeah.
know what I'm actually gonna do is when the season starts, the one guy I'm gonna go after the most is Jordan Love. I'm gonna go after. I know Aaron Rodgers still there. Everyone's gonna focus on Rodgers, but I'm just gonna go for that backup right away. Try to see if he's cheap. If he's not, then maybe I'll wait a little, maybe towards the end of
Yeah.
the season. But if he's cheap, I'm snatching up all the Jordan Loves.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. When those first cards with him in his uniform come out, I don't know if there's been any yet. I know that the latest football cards that came out were the Contenders draft picks, but those are still him in his college uniform. Probably ideal to buy his first card when he comes out wearing his Packers uniform, which I guess would be probably the next Prism set, unless you guys know anything different.
Nah, that's where I am. I think the next
Yeah.
Prism is where he's going to end up. I don't see it
Yeah.
coming out before that.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I think we've covered a lot of what we were thinking with Cam Newton and covering the potential types of profits that you can make just by speculating and buying those guys that are off the radar at the current moment. Obviously, Cam, his career wasn't going to be over. He's a MVP caliber player, like we've mentioned several times, and there was no reason for him to not be with the team right now. And he just ended up in the best possible situation. I've actually got a chart up here, Devin, if you could show that. This just kind of illustrates his 2011 Topps Chrome PSA 10 card and the type of price action it had just leading into last night. Um, the card had been down here in that $20 range for several weeks, if not months, and it shot up a little bit on the ninth. I was surprised to see that someone bought it for 489. Someone had overpaid for it, in my opinion, and then it went down a little bit around 129, but then it's shot up last night to 850. We don't have a ton of that data from last night in the system yet, so we got to kind of wait and see how that plays out. I want to see what the highest price that card fetched was and see what some of those other Cam Newton rookie cards fetched. But you can get a subscription to Market Movers using the promo code grinders. Go to sportscardinvestor.com and use that promo code grinders. You'll get 20% off your first payment on any subscription. So make sure you do that. Make sure you're getting the Market Movers subscription, because that's going to allow you to see all this data, and that's what's going to help you save all this money on these cards. Make sure you're not overpaying on those eBay auctions. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to check out our articles and videos over on rotogrinders.com in the sports card section. And make sure to get in that Discord channel, because that's where all this action takes place. All the people in our Discord channel knew about Cam Newton well in advance. All the people who watched our videos, we've been talking about Cam Newton. I talked about him back in April. So we've been talking about him for months, and how it's a good opportunity to buy a card. Very little to lose when you're buying a stud player, PSA 10 for under $30. Just to get that PSA 10, it costs around 10, $20. So you have very little to lose with an investment like that. Keep your eye out for more recommendations on similar investments, and hopefully we can make some more money for everybody in the future. So thanks for joining us. Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Renell. And we will see you next time. Thank you.